I wanted to try giving some voiceover here, so let's give it a shot. Tonight's objectives were dynamic movement, leading with provocations, and taking guard at the edge of range. All three tie together, but in essence, it's about hiding my intentions by not properly assuming my guard until I'm right about to attack, at which point I try to provoke in some way to open up their guard and then move dynamically offline to chase openings. Case in point, you can see me hanging out low, but I take that Vom Tug position once he starts creeping in, and I start moving in. I do some quick side-to-side there, and I get the hits in. We're back hanging out low, and then as the opportunity arises, I lift up into Vom Tug and try to work my opening. It's kind of a funky-looking exchange, but I basically wound up and over and then sliced the hand. You can see more provocation work coming up here, but I do not commit enough to it, and he's able to disengage and cut the hand. This was my favorite exchange of the evening, partially because most of it was conducted entirely with footwork without even properly engaging the blades. We're just trying to find the right opening. And you'll see that once the distance collapses, I engage a quick provocation to try to get a hand snipe in, and then dramatically move offline to cover myself. Right there. I throw a cut and then abort the second one because I see another attack coming in, parry it, and then hit while he's in recovery. This exchange almost went exactly how I planned. I provoke a thrust with a big whiff and then plan to beat it aside and hit again, but the thrust manages to nick my arm before I get it offline. Here I sell him on a outside cut to his right, but I actually throw it down the inside. Here I was going for a shield howl, but it lands flat, and I avoided the hand snipe by keeping my hands close. There's some really cool offline maneuvering on this exchange, and it was almost clean, but he manages to just tag my hand as I withdraw. Here I try another cut provocation, but he manages to tag in between the provocation and the actual cut. I should have done it closer to force him on the defense or have been ready to parry the counterattack. And that just there was a much better provocation into attack. Here I basically just take the defense, space him out until I see my opportunity to press the attack, and I rush in and hit, and I got really lucky that I didn't get stabbed. I kept reviewing this and I wasn't sure if that first contact was incidental, but I really loved how I flowed the cuts after. This is another successful provocation into a hit. See how I get him to commit to a parry, and then I attack the opening. Here I really should have just stayed in Ox instead of dropping the plow. Nothing too fancy here, I just press the attack really hard and attack at angles that he's just not expecting. This next one's just kind of a painful experience for us both. I provoke from within the bind, attack the opening, and then try for a one-handed parry, but I misjudge the angle. Here I parry into my Zverkow, I do a tag hit, and then the full cut after. Here's a cheeky little hand snipe. This exchange has a bunch of fun back and forth. We're both hesitant to commit too much, we're getting wise to each other's tricks this night. But eventually I try to push, and I make the mistake of trying to do the same left ox thrust twice in a row, and he just moves offline. At this point, I'm starting to get a little too tired to be pulling off these provocations like I want. They're just getting a little too slow, and he's able to pick me apart over the next few exchanges until I buckle up and put the effort back in. Even still, he's about to land a beautiful hanging thrust. There's some contact after the point, but I think he had me dead to rights. More sluggishness on my part. At this point, I get my second wind. I throw a quick flurry to create an opening in the lower quarters, and I take it. A quick retreating cut to take the hands as I withdraw. This is going to be a really big flurry that I immediately take the quickest, shortest route the moment an opening appears. Here we're kind of picking at each other a little bit, not coming too deep, but I am going to land a shield howl right there and cover it. This is a play I took from Meyer where you combine a hanging parry and Zverkow into a single circling movement. Here I whiff one of my beats and end up walking onto the point. And then immediately after, a great thrust into my preparation. At this point, we're both getting a bit tired and we're getting a lot more conservative in our movements, trying to, make the most of what we have left in our stamina. But we have our first open double of the night, which is probably a good sign we need to stop soon. And another unfortunate double. Having just recently been stabbed twice in a row, I had thrusts on the mind, so that's what I go for. And that's it for the night. I hope you all enjoyed the voiceover, and I'm happy to keep doing it if it was interesting to you.